Tomorrow morning, you wake up and something's different. You stub your toe on the bed frame, hard, and nothing. No white-hot flash, no swearing, no hopping around. Just nothing. You touch the hot mug of coffee. Nothing. You bite your tongue. Nothing. Congratulations. Overnight, you've become completely immune to pain. This feels like winning the genetic lottery. It is, in fact, a countdown. And I'm going to tell you exactly how it ends. Because for a handful of real people, this isn't a hypothetical. They're born this way, and their lives are not what you'd guess. Let's be honest about what your brain does first. It doesn't think medical emergency. It thinks superpower. So let's enjoy the fantasy for a minute, because it's genuinely funny before it's terrifying. You become fearless at the gym. That last brutal rep that your body would normally veto, you just do it. And the next one. And 40 more. Because the little voice that screams, "Stop, you're tearing something," has been fired. You'd set a personal record and a hospital record on the same afternoon. You'd eat pizza straight out of the oven like a normal human eats a sandwich, molten cheese and all, steam pouring out of your ears, blissfully unbothered while everyone around you screams. You'd become weirdly hard to intimidate. Stubbed toe? Paper cut? Stepping on a Lego in the dark? Humanity's most reliable source of suffering? Nothing. For about a day, you'd feel like the toughest person alive. Okay, here's where the fantasy meets biology. And biology always wins. Pain isn't a design flaw. It's the most sophisticated alarm system ever built. And it's running in your body right now, for free. Scattered across your skin, muscles, and organs are millions of tiny sensors called nociceptors. Their entire job is to detect anything that could damage you: crushing, burning, tearing, extreme cold, and to fire an urgent message up your spinal cord to your brain that basically says, "Stop doing that immediately." And here's the elegant part. Scientists call this the smoke detector principle. Your pain system is deliberately oversensitive. It would rather scream 100 times when you're fine than stay silent the one time your appendix is actually rupturing. A smoke alarm that goes off when you make toast is annoying, but a smoke alarm that stays quiet to be polite? That's the one that kills you in your sleep. So when you turn off pain, you're not removing an annoyance. You're ripping the batteries out of every smoke detector in the building and then walking around with a lit match. And this isn't science fiction. There are people right now born with a rare genetic condition called congenital insensitivity to pain. Most cases trace back to a single broken gene. Its job is to build a tiny gateway, a sodium channel called NaV 1.7, that lets pain signals travel. No gateway, no signal. The alarm wires are cut at the source. You'd think these would be the toughest people on Earth. The heartbreaking reality is the opposite. Children with this condition have to be watched constantly because they'll casually bite through their own tongue or fingertips without noticing. They'll break a bone and keep walking on it. They don't learn the lessons the rest of us learn as toddlers. Stove hot, don't touch. Because the teacher that burns that lesson in was never hired. There's a strange bonus twist too. The exact same gene is used by the nerves in your nose. So many people who can't feel pain also can't smell anything. Nature really said, no pain, and also, no bacon aroma. And it's not a long, safe life. Without that constant stream of warnings, injuries and infections quietly pile up. The condition often shortens lifespan dramatically. Pain, it turns out, is a huge part of what keeps you alive long enough to complain about it. So let's replay your amazing first day. Director's Cut edition. That gym record? You didn't get stronger. You tore muscle and stressed bone that's now quietly failing, and you have no idea, because the messenger was shot. That pizza? You scalded your throat and mouth, and the burns are real even though the feeling isn't. That paper cut you ignored? It's a doorway, and infection doesn't need your permission to walk through it. Pain is what would have made you clean it, bandage it, protect it. Without pain, you don't rest a sprain, so it never heals. You don't limp off a bad ankle, so the joint grinds itself apart. There's a brutal version of this in the real world. People with leprosy don't lose fingers because the disease eats them directly. They lose them because they can't feel injuries, so small wounds go untreated until the damage is permanent. Your superpower was never invincibility. It was just the removal of the warnings. The danger was always there. Pain was the only thing pointing at it and yelling. So here's the reframe that actually changes how you feel about it. Tonight, when you stub your toe and want to curse the universe, that flash of agony is your body loving you in the only language it has. It's a million tiny sensors screaming in perfect unison. We would like to keep you alive, please. Pain isn't the villain of your body. It's the bodyguard you never thanked. Which raises the obvious next question. If turning pain off is a disaster, what happens if we crank it the other way? What if you could feel everything, all the time, turned up to maximum? Because that's a real condition too, and it might be worse. That's the next video. Try not to stub your toe before then. Actually, do say thanks.